Hey guys, what's going on? This is 00 and here's some new information. I like Smite. Clearly. It's one of my favourite games that I play on a regular basis. And during my time playing, I've learned a lot about the various gods in the game. I now know all the gods and their abilities and can play most of them decently. Now, it's important to know how to play a god, so I thought I'd make a series demonstrating how to play every god that is currently in the game. That's no easy task to do in one video, as it will probably be 3 hours long. But I thought it'd be smarter to split these videos up into segments, which is why I'm starting with mages, because it's the role with the most gods. Oh boy. So, let's start. Here's how to play every mage in Smite. Fire rain fire on enemy gods, then immediately cast Noxious Fumes, underneath it to stun. Keep Apple Flames as an escape and get ready to cast Noxious Fumes on it if enemy gods are following close behind. Agni doesn't have a great wave clear until he unlocks his ultimate. His rain fire costs no mana and he gets a shot of it every 20 seconds with maximum of 3. You'll want to keep all 3 shots of his ultimate ready for a team fight. Each shot does a good amount of damage, but hitting all 3 of them on one target can be deadly. Just stay back and, well, rain fire. Upgrade Undead Surge so you can fire out 2 corpses. Try to hit waves on the side so it will hit the archers in the back. Try to use Fleeting Breath on enemy gods that can heal to try and stun them. If you're low on health, fire a few corpses at the wall and walk over them. You gain health and mana for every corpse you pick up, plus it reduces cooldown on Undead Surge. Empty the crypts is great at keeping enemy gods at bay in the middle of team fights. The damage from these wraiths can stack up great if an enemy is hit by multiple of them. Anubis can be particularly tricky to play as he has 2 abilities that require him to stand still, making him an easy target. He compensates for this by having high damaging tick abilities. Every damaging ability he has does tick damage. Grasping Hands is his primary source of damage that clears waves and does wonders in the middle of team fights. Mummify is a great stun tool and can leave enemy gods vulnerable. Stun them, then punish them. Play out Kuang like an assassin. Sneak up on enemies in your water illusion stealth form, immediately followed by Wild Storm. Activate Dragon Call before going into stealth, as the sound effect is loud and can be heard when you're invisible. Execute enemies with the ultimate or use it to throw them into the air and punish them when they land. Link with an ally using Kiss. Make sure to stay close to them so you keep the link. Cast Lovebirds on waves and enemy gods to both damage enemies and heal you and your ally. Back off can be great at keeping enemy gods away from both you and your ally. Remember, you can use Kiss to stun enemy gods while keeping the link between you and your ally unharmed. Use Undying Love in situations where you and your ally are about to take a lot of damage or get hit with a hard CC ability. Make sure you have a good amount of mana. If you keep a healthy amount of mana, you can stay online practically all game thanks to a passive, which allows her to buy any item from the store anywhere on the map. Use Crescent Moon Dance as often as you can as it has a low cooldown. Make sure to use Moonlight Waltz in the right circumstances. Try to anticipate when you're about to get hit by a lot of damage so you can nullify it. Use it to void any CC abilities entirely. Heal yourself with Moonlight Dance and the damage and reduce healing on all enemy gods. Use Waxing Moon against big clumps of enemies to get the maximum stun off. Also, Chang'e gains 25% movement speed while casting an ability, so remember to use it if you're trying to escape. Play Chronos like you would a hunter, using your basic attacks to deal damage to enemies. Time Rift is a high damaging ability that is easy to hit. This works great in tangent with its stop time, which will stun. His ultimate is extremely effective and can change entire team fights in your favour if used correctly. Accelerate allows Chronos to move and attack much faster, but it also stops the Wheel of Time. Depending on where the hand stops will affect him in different ways. Section 4 is where he becomes most useful and deadly. Chronos is great at boxing other enemy hunters. Discordia certainly left an impression on Smite. She has high damage and is generally great at causing chaos amongst the enemy team. The most dangerous ability is Strife, which you should use as often as possible. Try hitting 2 or more enemy gods to try and cause madness. Follow this up with Unruly Magic to cause high amounts of damage. Erratic Behaviour is a useful ability to avoid damage. Stay inside the fog to decrease the cooldowns on your abilities and keep the damage rolling. Remember that when she leaps into a stealth cloud, she can't be damaged. Use this the correct time and you're golden. Speaking of golden, her ultimate, Golden Apple of Discord, is a great ability to use in teamfights. Make sure you hit it into large groups so it can spread as much as possible. Also keep in mind this fin is very slow and enemies can dodge it easily if they see it coming. Much like Chronos, Freya also functions in a very similar way, with all of her damage coming from basic attacks. She has 2 buffs that work in tangent to each other. Irradiate increases the amount of damage her basic attacks do, and Pulse turns her basic attacks into ranged ones. Pulse slows and deals area damage, but only if Irradiate isn't activated. Depending on how high her attack speed is, dictates on how many of these pulses you can shoot out within a 6-second duration. Banish is great at stopping enemy gods from doing anything. Use it to stop gods chasing you, or get ready to punish them as they fall. Her ultimate allows Freya to fly into the air and shoot down 4 times. This is great at trying to catch low health enemies trying to escape. Just try to hit your target and not miss. Hades can function in 2 ways. Either a no-nonsense damage-oriented mage, or a tanky tank tanked up on health. Death from below is what you're going to want to use to engage. Follow this up with Shroud of Darkness for a good silence, then either use Devour Souls to deal massive damage, or, if you have allies around, Pillar of Agni to pull enemies in. Hades works extremely well with lifesteal items. Warlock's Bond was basically made for him, so use it with him. Hebo's true strength is unlocked during the late game. The early game is quite poor and mostly just serves to poke out enemies with Water Spout. Water Cannon has high damage and much like Chang'e's Crescent Moon Dance has stupidly low cooldown. Use it all the time. Use his Water Carpet to either escape or in the middle of a team fight to slow down enemies. Use Crushing Wave in tangent to his Water Spout. This will make it easier for you to hit enemies when you know where they're going to be. Hell is a stance changer. She can switch between heal or damage. Using her Dark Stance, casts Hinder at enemies' feet, followed by Pulse, and finish them off with a shot of Decay. Hell's Cleanse is very useful and can make allies CC immune, use it when they are getting harassed. Make sure to always be healing your allies. Wind Gust is a great wave clear. Just keep in mind she can be interrupted while casting. Her Spirit Ball is very effective at stopping enemy gods. Remember to detonate it early if it hits the enemy gods, as it doesn't detonate on its own until it reaches its max distance. Use this in tangent with Dispel Magic to give enemies a real hard time. Isis' ultimate is great for team fights. Make sure to detonate it early if you're trying to secure a kill, although it's best kept for the middle of a team fight. Janus is arguably one of the most powerful gods in the game, due to the utility of his abilities. Janus can place portals on walls which either he or his allies can pass through. This is extremely useful at saving yourself and traversing through the map. It can also be placed on the floor to banish and damage enemies. Keep putting down thresholds and walking over them. Walking over any threshold will grant you 15% extra scaling on your next ability. This is a lot of damage. His ultimate is what makes Janus, well, Janus. Use it to get you and your team across the map and into team fights. Only use it as a sniping ability when a team fight is over and there's one pesky enemy left running away with low health. Whirlwinds. Place them down all the time. Your job is to be an annoying bastard and Kukulkan excels at being this. Make sure to build items that increase your mana to get some extra power on the go. Remember to aim your ultimate towards where you think the enemies are going. It takes a while for the damage to hit them, so try to compensate for this. Use it when enemies clump up together for maximum amount of damage. Nox's Siphon Darkness is a very powerful and useful ability when used correctly. It silences and does great damage, but takes a while to detonate. Place Siphon Darkness on enemies, immediately followed by Shadow Lock to hold them in place. This will either do a lot of damage or get Purification beats off. Either way, it's a victory. Use Shadow Step to enter allies. This can be great at saving yourself, as your ally can get you to safety depending on who you enter. Remember to cancel it early so you can deal damage on your way out. Aim Night Terror towards a large crowd of enemies. This will allow it to deal the maximum amount of damage. Also, remember this, enemies hit by this deal 40% less damage. Use it at the start of team fights to help your team out greatly. Upgrade Clay Soldiers until you have 2 of them, then immediately start upgrading Shining Metal. Shining Metal determines the amount of damage the explosion does when you use it on the minions, not the other way around. Summon Clay Soldiers only when you really need them, either to defend yourself or when a team fight is breaking out. The Clear Waves relies more on your Shining Metal and Fog. Use the Fog to conceal yourself and move in unpredictable patterns when you're inside it, so you can throw off enemies that are trying to kill you. Fire Shards is the easiest ultimate to use in the game, because you can't miss. Use it in 3 conditions. 1. When an enemy is on low health so you can secure a kill. 2. To see where the enemies are on the map. This is useful for seeing if they are doing an objective like Fire Giant. 3. Escape. It's not great, but it's the best she's got and it allows a few seconds for your team to come in and save you. Poseidon has some of the best teamfight abilities out of all the mages. Uses Whirlpool to clear waves and places down as much as you can during teamfights. It is highly recommended that you build Gem of Isolation. That added slow is a death sentence to enemies. Remember to keep hitting your basic attacks, as this charges up his tidal meter. Abilities consume this meter and do additional damage. His ultimate, appropriately titled Release the Kraken, is amazing for both securing kills or used in the middle of team fights. Make sure to hit enemies with the middle as it knocks them up and stuns them. Ra is the undisputed king of wave clears. Just shoot down your beam from above and watch the minions fry. Divine Light is kind of like a flashbang, but it also deals quite a good amount of damage as well as slowing. This is a great tool for disorienting enemies. Make sure to use Solar Blessing as a heal for your allies and not for damaging enemies. Cast it on allies to keep them healed up for the team fights to come. His ultimate is a great sniping tool. It shoots far, but isn't very wide, so you need to line up your shots well. Also, make sure to spam abilities when leaving base. This will allow you to move quicker and get to lane faster. Raijin has certainly had his ups and downs through the meta, but right now he's in a pretty good place. Throw out Raiju onto enemies, then follow up with Percussive Storm. This will deal the maximum amount of damage you can reach. Thunder Crash is a great tool for both engaging and retreating. Use it to catch up to and mez enemies, but don't rely on it to perform damage all the time. It's great for escaping and try to use it by going through walls. Taiko Drums has 3 states: full damage, taunt, and fear. Use full damage in team fights to get the full amount of damage off. Taunt enemies in if they're trying to escape to make sure they can walk towards you and your team. Fear is great for saving either yourself or teammates. Remember, you get 4 hits off this, so try to use them wisely. To get the full use out of Scylla's passive, try point skipping. Don't upgrade any ability at level 8 and instead keep it for level 9. This will give you 2 points, which you can use to upgrade Crush and her ultimate. This will unlock her true power earlier and will make her more effective. Her main form of attack is Sikkim, followed by Crush. This should basically reduce the enemy's health to nil. Sentinel is one of the best escape moves out of all the mages. Make sure to activate it twice to move towards the dog head you place. I'm a Monster is a very damaging ultimate that has the potential to wipe out an entire team. Every kill she gets with it resets the ability so you can strike again. Use it at the right times and there won't be an enemy team left. Keep your heat at 100% by hitting waves and using radiance. This will allow Sol to gain 25% extra damage on her basic attacks. Most of Sol's damage comes from her basic attacks, so try and power them up as much as you can. Use Stellar Burst as much as possible. Her ultimate unleashes 8 blasts from the sky. Try to use it in the middle of a large group of enemies to maximise the damage. The Morrigan has one of the most complex ultimates in the game. Deciding which god to change into is entirely dependent on the circumstances of the gods that have been chosen. Try to choose a god that has high damaging or heavy CT abilities. Remember that the rank of your abilities will be transferred to the abilities of the god you transform into. Try to sneak up on enemies in your stealth form and follow it up with your stun and dark omen. This should result in some good damage. Activate Glyph of Pain before casting abilities so you can get the maximum damage off. Evade and Punish is great for escaping, but also has good damage and a stun, so try to utilise it in the right circumstances. His ultimate, Final Judgment, can be fired early, but only do this if you know you're gonna hit your target and they will be killed from the reduced damage. Always place down his turret before engaging. It is one of the most annoying abilities in the game. Use Magma Bomb to knock up enemies and follow up with Backfire. Earthshaker is one of the highest damaging ultimates in the game. Try to hit enemies at max range for the full damage, but you can also use it on yourself if enemies are harassing you. When it comes to Zeus, it's all about his charges. All his abilities apply a charge to an enemy, with his third ability detonating them, causing high damage. A maximum of 3 charges can be placed on any one enemy at a time. Try to time detonate to the secure kills. Cast Expose Evil and remove the mark with Exorcism. This will charge up his passive, which will give Zhong Kui added protections when he casts his ultimate. Recall Demons should be used in the middle of a large group of enemies to release as much damage as possible. Remember, he's immune to knockup and slows while casting this ability. And there you have it. These are but a brief description on how to play every mage in Smite. I hope you found it helpful and enjoyable. Keep in mind, Smite is a game that's constantly changing, with various patches and updates that try to improve the game. Keep in mind the upload date of this video, as some of the things I have stated may have changed. Also, keep in mind there will be other mages added to the game that I can't cover in this video. I'll have to think about what role I want to cover in my next video, and I'll keep you guys updated. If you liked this video, hit that like button down below. Want to see more Smite related content? Then subscribe. Got any suggestions on any future videos I should do? Leave a comment down below or tweet at me. Until next time, see you guys.